Happy Thursday, guys. Hope everyone had a good night last night, both DFS and otherwise. If you played last night, hopefully you played the picks. They were pretty solid. I liked a bunch of those games. A bunch of the games close. I watched the late game, OKC and LA. It was good back and forth. Paul George, I had him in a couple of my lineups, and he was terrible for the first half. You think he picked up 3 fouls in about 5 minutes in the first quarter. So I was surprised that he got as much run and as much production as he did. But if you follow the picks, you probably cashed. Davis was just awesome. I was surprised how low the cash line was, just because there were so many guys that went off. A lot probably had to do with Charlotte going down, some of the chalkier players on that team, Monk, and I forget the point guard's name that stepped in, but they didn't go off like they would have if all the players got a normal run and Monk didn't get hurt and all that. So, but overall productive night, profitable night. So we'll jump into this 3-game slate. Before we do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get the alerts. So when I drop a video, you get the notification right away. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the DFS Picks. If you go down in the description, you need some more cash to get some play on DraftKings or FanDuel or Fantasy Drafts. The links are down below to get more money. So let's drop into this 3-game slate today. If you know me, I hate smaller slates like this. Good thing is, a couple good matchups. 3 games: Toronto, San Antonio, Denver, Sacramento, Houston, Golden State. If I had to rank them, it would be Denver, Sacramento, Houston, Golden State, and then Toronto, San Antonio, as far as for fantasy purposes and ownership and exposure to those games. So let's just jump in. First off, just hit the elephant first. I don't think that you can fade James Harden in right now. The way he's playing, as much usage as he has without a bunch of the other starters. Gordon's out again. Ennis is questionable. Paul is obviously still out. There's a lot going right for his fantasy production. And if you give an over/under on 50 points, I would have to take the over easily every time, because I don't see a way outside of the blowout that he doesn't get his production, because everything goes through him. Even Capella's usage and numbers are down since Paul is out. When Paul is out, it's Harden time. So for whatever reason, that doesn't really make any sense why Capella's usage would be down, but that's the way it is. So for at least cash games tonight, if you're playing cash, even if you're playing GPP, I don't see how you can fade him. His ownership, he's going to be super chalky tonight, so I don't see how you can fade him. If you are doing GPPs, there are other ways to be different, other higher end players to fade to be different. So even at that, even at 11K for Harden's, it's down for the last 4 games. He hasn't been that low in over a week. So I like that. He's only been that low once in the last 2.5 weeks. So that's always a good thing. So go in for him. The next part, same game, is Draymond. Draymond is only 5,900. That's too little for him. He was up to 6,700 earlier in the week. He hasn't dropped below 6K in all season. Yeah. So he's not only is that a great price for him, but he's in a good matchup against Houston. He's going up against PJ Tucker is most likely going to be guarding him, and he should have a very productive night. He's going to get the minutes. Obviously, it's Draymond. So I don't see a way, and with the point total being so high, I don't see a way around playing him at that price. It's a good value pick on a night where you really don't have that many value picks. Injury news as far as is going on now, obviously things can change the rest of the day, probably will, but as of now, not a lot of injury news, not a lot of value plays out there, and there are a couple guys that I would want to spend up for. One of them being, next pick is going to be Kawhi. Now, not spending up too high. He's only 8,800, and he's in a good spot against his old team. So you got the revenge narrative there. Rudy Gay is out. So he should have a good, easier time with in this game. He had 53 last game against Utah on New Year's, and he's kind of in the same spot, not exactly the same spot, but kind of in the same spot as Harden, where a lot of the plays, a lot of the game goes through him on the offensive end, and on top of that, he has he's going to get the steals, rebounds. He's great on the defensive end, so he hasn't had, outside of the last game, he hasn't had great games in a little while. He had two definitely down games and 2 average games, but he's primed for this matchup. Kyle Lowry should be out again, so you shouldn't have to worry about that usage from him. Van Vliet is going to be more of a distributor. He's not going to take it upon himself. So Kawhi should have the usage to go above 5 times value, 6 times value for this game. Now, going back to fading, when we're talking about fading Harden, maybe I would rather fade Kawhi here if you're doing GPP and trying to be different, trying to get a unique lineup, just in the off chance that he doesn't go off tonight, that San Antonio gets up for this matchup. They didn't like the way that he left last year and how things went down then. So I could see a situation where they get up for this game and try and shut him down or something of that sort. But odds are not. I mean, cash lineups, I'm locking him in because the usage is just is so good with him. So lock him in. And then we'll go down to forward again and go Paul Millsap. Now, you could go either Paul Millsap or Plumlee in this matchup, but I like Millsap as the value play out of the two. He's just coming back, so he's just getting his minutes. They're upping his minutes, it looks like slowly. 14 in the first game, 22. He did have a really good game against New York on New Year's Day with only 22 minutes. He got 34 points, so that's more than 1.5 per minute, which is just great, especially coming off the bench. So, and he's in another good matchup with Sacramento. Any position across the board is a good matchup fantasy-wise for Sacramento opponents. Like I said before, Sacramento's a pace-up team, so Denver, typically slow. They're going to play faster, more possessions, more turnovers, more points, all that kind of stuff. I think the game is, the over-under is 230, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 230, though. And it's the highest of the 3 games. So you want exposure to this game and exposure to the Nuggets. I think that's where you go. Now, I do like Jokic in this game, but I don't see how. I like, as of now, Kawhi and Harden better. So, and I don't see any possible way of getting all 3. Now, that might change as the day goes on. If something happens to, if Harris for some reason is out, or one of the other guys on Denver is out, and the usage for Jokic goes up, something happens during the day to change that, or we get more value plays somehow during the day that we can spend up, or if something changes, just that might happen. But as of now, I'm really looking at picking up pieces that are paying down at the big guy position, at the 4 and 5 positions, and paying up for Harden and Kawhi. So those are the 4 picks. That leaves 47.75, so well under 5K per person for the rest of the four. I will be posting on Twitter. Follow me, like I said, at the DFS Picks, with injury news and pivots and things that or anything that changes during the day. But hope you guys have a good one and good luck tonight. Thanks, guys.